When you're tracking down a great speaker for your next event, you'll definitely want someone you can be sure is going to deliver. Well, here's someone who's been delivering for a couple of decades. Tom Potter has spent the last 20 years building his company Eagle Boys from a single regional pizza store to a point where the company will turn over more than $100 million. This 20-year roller coaster ride is the inspiration behind the insights that Tom delivers in a style all of his own.
So Eagle Boys have built 25, 30 stores throughout regional Australia, and I notice a lot of you here are from regional Australia and you would know the brand. And we're having a ton of fun. I mean, we're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. We're giving it to them and sticking it to them and breaking all the rules and having a lot of fun. And we decided to move into Brisbane because we're 10 foot tall and bulletproof. Mum decided at that stage she wanted to retire. We were 6 years into the business, and I bought her out, took on a ton of debt, moved us up to our new 12,000 square foot warehouse in Fortitude Valley, and off we went. Our first 12 stores opened in Brisbane. Now, what do you reckon is going to happen when two of the largest international-owned pizza companies in the world, who you've been given a real touch-up to in the country, know you're coming into their main home base in the city? What are they going to do? Well, they're going to build a beachhead of biblical proportion. And this is what happened to me in the first 12 months of moving to Brisbane. Your first dozen franchises open, and everybody's doing well, and everybody's happy, and the pizza prices start to drop. We went from 14 to 13 to 12 to 11 to 10 to 9 to 8 to 7 to $6 over 9 months for a pizza. Now, here's my challenge to you. And we all talk about how tough it is in retail. Well, suck it up. It's tough. And the survival of the fittest is what it's all about. What I had to do was work out how I was going to sell the same product that I used to sell 12 months ago for half the price, yet create a more profitable business. Think about that one. So I've got franchisees screaming because their business model doesn't fit anymore. I've got a price war going on over here, and some of us are trying to match all prices and all people to stay in business, and things start going wrong internally as well. I wasn't controlling the growth. I hadn't employed the right people at stages, and I had an internal employee rip me off for $450,000. Then the bank called me in and told me I had 21 days to get my act together and get my debt to equity right, or they were going to call me in. So I sold everything I had, including the warehouse that I'd purchased 6 months before. I had to put 30% of the staff off and finally try and survive my way out of it. I get a phone call on the Friday night from a guy who was quite chipper, and he said, I'm calling from the Australian Financial Review. And Tom, congratulations, you have been nominated as Australian Young Business Person of the Year. Can you come to Sydney on Friday for the interview and the final judgings? And I thought, I probably won't go broke for another 10 days, I'll have a crack at it. And I flew to Sydney and I won that award, and I had my 15 minutes of fame, and I won a scholarship to go to university in America, and I went over there part-time for the next 3 years, and it changed my life because I went over there and learnt what I didn't know, and there's a lot you don't know.
Tom is an engaging and entertaining speaker with a whole heap of great stories to tell.
After getting back from my first semester, I still had a huge problem. My business was going backwards, my margins were gone, and we were getting squeezed like you wouldn't believe between two major competitors. And I was literally crawled up in the fetal position on the couch at night, not knowing what to do. I didn't understand retail price marketing. And I know that you guys have the same challenges with competitors that come out and assume for all the competitors that they're cheaper on every line. And it's all about perception. But I didn't know that. So I called a friend of mine who was a marketing guru, and he said, let's get out to the front line and see what's going on. We got out to our first shop that night, and it was busy. Shop full of people, flat out. And we stood behind the counter, and Bill said, have a look at your customers. What's different? And I said, there is something different, but I can't work it out. And he said, no, look closely. Now, the Eagle Boys target market was 20 to 45, married, 2 kids, medium to high income earners. They're what's known as astute buyers. But instead, I'm looking around the shop and I'm seeing people that are both my target market and then other people coming in, and they've got fists full of cheap coupons. They've got screaming, snotty-nosed kids on each hip. Basically got a shop full of ferals. I got one guy walks up to the front counter, I'm serving a good evening, sir, what would you like? I looked down and I noticed he had one thong on. I said, oh mate, did you lose a thong? And he goes, no, I found one.
Whatever your event is focused on, whether you're talking business or inspiration or franchising or personal development, Tom not only motivates and entertains, he leaves every audience with challenges to build on.
One of the most important points of this presentation that I give is that it's 20 years of history, which makes it 20 years of mistakes, 20 years of lessons. In a lot of cases, people might be 8 years into their business. I can help them short track the next 12 years by saying, hey, don't do this and don't do that and go in that direction. And I think that in a lot of cases there are a lot of different public speakers who talk about different issues, but there's not many that have actually started a business from scratch and built it over 20 years, you know, to a $100 million business. So I think that the biggest issue that you can put in front of people is, these were the tracks I took, these were the mistakes that I made. Try not to do those yourself.
Tom Potter, a real Australian success story that's really entertaining.